Stocks close sharply higher on strong US and China data. Stocks jumped Monday as strong manufacturing data out of the US and China eased worries of a possible global economic slowdown. The Dow jumped 329 points, closing above 26,000 for the first time since February 26 on strength in United Technologies, Caterpillar, and JP Morgan Chase. The S&P 500 climbed 1.1% as the financial sector outperformed. The Nasdaq ended the bank stocks rose broadly. Citigroup, U.S. manufacturing activity expanded last month, rebounding from its lowest level since late 2016, according to data from the Institute for Supply Management. The Dow and S&P in China, the Caixin/Market Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index jumped to 50.8 in March, its highest level in 8 months, after economists polled by Refinitiv expected a print of 49.9. A number above foot. Asian equities rose broadly on the data, with the Shanghai Composite surging 2.6%. Japan's Nikkei, the figures gave some much-needed relief to investors unnerved of late by fears of a global economic downturn. Early last week, the yield on the 10-year Treasury note recently dipped below that of the 3-month bill, in what's known as a yield curve inversion. A yield curve inversion. Monday's gains came after the S&P 500 notched last week its best start to a year since 1998 and its strongest quarterly performance since 2009. The broad index. In other news-boosting markets, the US and China recently concluded their latest round of trade talks. U.S. officials last week said China had made proposals on a number of issues, including forced technology transfers, that go further than previous commitments. The two superpowers are set to resume talks in Washington this week. Both countries have. Amazon rose more than 1.5% after analyst at Oppenheimer hiked his price target on the stock to $2,085 from $1,975, citing AI and cloud adoption. CNBC's Ryan Brown contributed to this report.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.